What's up, guys? So first and foremost, don't forget to subscribe, like, and all that good stuff before I dig into the nitty gritty. Today we had a push session, and so most of the video I want you guys obviously to see the movements we did, how far we took sets, all that good stuff, because again, a lot of it is not super different week to week. The finisher, which I'll talk through a little bit, was a little bit different. But aside from that, once we kind of pick some big movements, we stick with them for a long period of time and basically make sure that we're progressing over time, getting stronger, standardizing form, and obviously hopefully getting bigger. I want to talk through a little bit of the thought process today, so I'm going to use Terrence. I got Terrence and Cody here, and because Terrence's muscles are bigger, I'm going to use him to demonstrate instead of Cody. But I want to kind of talk through some of the thought process, and instead of my sweet-ass drawings today, use a little bit of a visual of a human being as far as, well, why do we have the exercise selection that we do? What really makes a complete workout? And if you're new here, I always pretty much prescribe to the notion of as little as possible to produce maximal results. And so people, it's kind of almost counterintuitive to at least what my thought process was when I started training. And a lot of people were like, well, if an hour of working out's good, then 5 hours will be 5 times better. Yeah. That was my thought process. Turns out that doesn't work out too well. So we really always want to train with basically as little stimulus as possible to produce maximal results. And again, that especially makes more sense the further along that you get, where recovery can often be the limiting factor. When you're new, I don't think there's anything wrong with just having crazy workouts and having fun, beating the shit out of your training partners and just eating a shit ton of food and sleeping a lot, because basically almost anything can work. And again, if it's fun, that's probably the best workout you can have because you'll adhere to it. But as you get further or further along, if you want to keep taking your physique further, I think the notion of efficiency becomes more important. So in that thread, I'm going to discuss why basically if we went through this workout for push, so we're touching basically on chest. I want really a complete chest workout because we don't have another chest day. We touch on part of delts because we finish the rest of delts on another day, and we do one movement for triceps because we still have arms on a separate day as well too. So I want to basically feel like what's the least amount of work we can do, the least amount of exercises really to fully train a muscle, and what does that look like and what does that translate to? So the first motion you'll see we did a converging incline press. It's a prime piece. You don't have to have a converging piece. Obviously, you don't have to specifically have the prime. The nice part about a good converging press is that basically a normal press will load you through basically the lengthened-ish through the mid-ish range. So again, if we're looking at maybe a 45-degree range of motion, if you have a good converging press, you're going to have load all the way to the top. So there's one little notion of efficiency right there. If I can work through what my body's capable of doing through 45 degrees or 90 degrees, I'm going to opt for 90 degrees. And so again, that was a little bit of an incline motion as well too. So if we're looking to bias some fibers, really it's not a super steep incline, so we're really working all along the middle part of the chest. But we are, again, if you look at the arm path, all of us have a slightly different arm path, but just a slightly tucked elbow. And if you look at the direction that upper arm goes to the top, the finish is the bicep kind of pointing right up here. So we are definitely getting a little bit of the fibers that attach to the top of the sternum, and for sure some of them that attach to the clavicle. So if we look through, why do we start with that? Pretty much all muscles are strongest in their mid ranges, so that really loads through the mid, and as an added bonus goes to that fully short and fully contracted position as well too. So again, any incline motion is fine, but if you have a good convergent piece, I like it because it's just a little bit more range of motion being taxed with one motion. And instead, if you can do something with one motion as opposed to two, I pretty much always opt for that. Then from there, we move basically into a flat cable fly. And the way we all do it, we all have the hips forward just a little bit, pretty big arch. So if you look at the position here and you look at where Terrence's arm path as he goes through this, it kind of lines up a little bit more almost with lower pec fibers. But this is really a super efficient motion for getting everything. So basically, if we didn't get fully stretched on the press, which we didn't, This will pretty much get a fully lengthened pec, pretty much almost every single part of your pec, or the majority of it. And at the same time, it loads all the way across to a near fully shortened position. So one, we're covering the plane here is going to be much more kind of mid to lower pec fibers, and we're pretty much covering all contractile range we have left. So if we didn't get fully lengthened, we did now. And if we're getting fully shortened and fully contracted, as opposed to biasing those upper pec fibers fully shortened with the converging, now we're fully shortening those lower pec fibers as well too. So that's really pretty much your entire pecs, your entire chest in 2 motions. And again, if you're the type of person that we did basically 4 working sets total between the 2. If you feel like you need more, I would advocate doing more sets within those 2 exercises as opposed to adding redundant exercises. Because almost any other exercise after that is going to be slightly redundant as far as either the same, the same plane of motion or the same range of motion. And again, if we look at everything we can do from a pec standpoint, we bias the different planes, we bias fully lengthened, fully shortened, and all the stuff in the middle as well too. Then we go to a high incline Smith press. I go to the Smith after that just because it's pretty stable. So again, as opposed to a barbell press, which we've had in the past, not really a big deal if you want to do a free weight or a barbell in place there. But we go to a pretty high incline. I think the bench is probably around 70-ish degrees. And the reason for that is that's going to really pretty much tax the front delt through almost its full range of motion. So depending on your arm path, I do a little bit more tucked. Terrence does a little bit more out here. Find your comfortable position and stick with there, because either way, you're going to load that front delt through its mid-range. And again, if you're doing this Terrence position here, you're probably going through maybe, 60-ish degrees range of motion. If you can tuck a little bit more, you might pick up somewhere more like 80, 90-ish degrees range of motion. But really with the direction of the load, we're really making the front delt do the vast majority of the work, overloading it through where it's strongest, which is again the positions you have the best opportunity to grow. And it's an added bonus here with the relative incline, and depending on your arm path, we're definitely picking up a little bit more of those clavicular fibers there as well too. I'd say it's mainly a front delt movement, but we're also getting some of those pec fibers as well too. And I don't really think, oh, we're isolating this or we're isolating that. As long as you have a good stable position of your shoulder joint, learn a little bit of everything there. Come on. Yep. Up. Up. Come on. Negative, come on. Again, use negative, come on. Lower it, don't drop it. Control. Hard. There we go. Finish, finish, finish. Yep. Then from there we go to a lateral raise. So we do the cable lateral raise. The reason that I picked that one is this is pretty much near the full side delts contractile range. So again, maybe we could pick up a teeny bit more back here, but again, we're probably through 90% of the delts contractile range. Why do I do this over a dumbbell? Well, with the cables going this way, there's load right from the bottom. So again, that's the big difference where a dumbbell is only really challenging up here. This one set up properly is challenging from the bottom all the way through the top. So that really lends itself to efficiency. Can I do a motion that trains that muscle through its near full contractile range, or just in one spot? If you don't have cables, next best thing is probably a machine. So basically just the lateral raise machine, where the ones have the pads here, or you grab the handle. Again, all of those are going to be fine options as well too. We don't do rear delts in this workout because I have that on my pull or on my back day. Again, we did some working sets in there. We did some drop sets there. The reason we did drop sets there is anecdotally I found that delts respond a little bit better to dense work. So it doesn't have to go apeshit all the time. Just including a drop set or two at the end of some working sets is a good way to include that. And then from there, we finish with some sort of cable press down. Terrence doing some single arm, doing some both arm. Just find out what fits best for you and realize the triceps near full contractile range is from here to here. Yes, you can change some length of the long head messing with this stuff, but most of the heads are going to get a significant amount of text if you're going from here all the way through here, training them through near, I don't know, 120 degrees range of motion. If you set up the cables properly, you can make it heaviest through these ranges, and basically that cable gets closer to your elbow joint, less torque or lighter in that position, which again matches your profile. So again, we have another tricep day, so we mess around with some different upper arm positions on that day. We have some pressing as well too, but as far as really doing 90% of the job of what triceps are capable of, that's why we pick those cables. And again, the reason we pick a cable over, a skull crush or something, which are good options, is they tend to fit all three of us better. So that's the main reason we went with that. And then you'll see we finish with something stupid for chest press there. So this whole sequence of basically a little bit more. And so again, how much volume is effective? Honestly, we kind of mess around with it. We keep everything in straight sets, the most important part of our workouts, but I like to include some stuff. Once you're fatigued, anything at the end of the workout is going to be sub-maximal. So however you want to organize that, obviously supersets, drop sets, giant sets have existed for a long period of time. I like to often set up supersets or giant sets that train different ranges of motion. So that's all we did. We did a pec deck there first, really making stuff horrible, focusing on the fully shortened position of the pec, focusing on driving that bicep into the side of the chest, then go to a fully lengthened position, focusing on that with the fly, so just staying within that lengthened range, and then dropping right into a press and trying to find whatever we have left in the mid-range. And just kind of arbitrary, because I wanted a lot of reps in a short period of time, we did 20, 20, 20 for the rep range there. So it's extremely dense, a lot of reps in a short period of time. And again, there's plenty of evidence that shows that's effective for hypertrophy as well too. And again, realize at the end of the workout, nothing's going to be heavy. It's literally impossible once you're fatigued. And we rotate what we do with pump work from time to time. Sometimes it's the same stuff for chest. On a push day, we'll generally do either something for chest or something for shoulders. We don't always do pump work for both because we're already having another arm day. We don't normally do tricep stuff on this day as well too. So that's a little bit kind of by feel. And so again, at the end of the day, I want you guys just to get a feel for the thought process behind all this stuff. I think it's this delicate balance of having, you do want a thought process. Why are we choosing these exercises? We want to be efficient. But also at the same time, I think a big difference that most people wouldn't catch from this perception of the outside is people that want to argue about shit or people that want to nitpick stuff or whatever it is. They're probably not in the gym getting shit done anyway. And so I always say I put everything through the filter of what actually produces results. So at the end of the day, it's pretty laid back environment actually training with me. And lots of times we'll go with, oh, this movement doesn't feel great. Okay, let's try this one instead. We'll sub stuff out really easy. So again, it's not really all about we have to do this best exercise or that best exercise. Again, we can kind of accomplish a similar different goals with different things. And again, not being too specifically attached to stuff. So there's always that balance of, yeah, we want a thought process, but then we also want to get in and just do some work and make sure that we're making progress and not get caught in the weeds with basically some of the stuff that arguably isn't as important. And ultimately, this comes down to just coaching preference, what I feel like hopefully I can deliver well on as far as the way that I like to structure everything, and obviously how well it's received. Obviously, if Terrence is, one, liking it, perception-wise liking it, but also, most importantly, producing results. I mean, he wouldn't give a shit if I was like, oh, I'm going to hit you with a hammer today. I mean, if his physique looked fucking perfect, then he'd be like, all right, it's hammer day, let's fucking go. And that's obviously half joke, but honestly, Terrence, I mean, that's the old joke of, I don't know if it's Arnold said it or Arnold stole it, saying from other people he'd eat 2 pounds of shit if it meant he put on 2 pounds of muscle or whatever. Terrence would do that if he had to, preferably not eating shit, but he would have hammer day if it made basically his physique perfect. Yeah. And but so anyway, I just want you guys to get, one, a pretty transparent picture of why we're doing the things that we're doing, what the thought process is, but also realize too that all of you guys take a deep breath, relax. The biggest things that you all need to be doing is getting in and doing something consistently, progressively, training hard, and then making sure your recovery matches whatever you choose to do. So hopefully that helps with some insight, and hopefully the workout will help y'all. And again, within the context, hopefully you guys feel like people ask, say, why only one tricep exercise? Why only this delt exercise? I wanted to tell you guys what the rest of the split looks like today as well too, so you kind of have an idea of like, oh, okay, well that's why they only do one tricep or whatever else elsewhere. So if you didn't in the beginning, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and until the next one, guys. Ah.